The iconic grounds of the All England Lawn Tennis Club will once again be the focus of the tennis world when the 124th Wimbledon Championships begin next week. Held in southwest London, the oldest tennis tournament of them all also provides British players with the opportunity to play a Grand Slam in front of their home fans. One such player is Anne Keothavong. Last year, she became the first British woman in 16 years to break into the world's top 50. In 2008, she played five-time Wimbledon champion Venus Williams on the hallowed turf of Centre Court.
That was amazing, playing Venus Williams, who was defending champion, and she went on to win the tournament again that year on Centre Court. And as a little girl, you know, I've always dreamt of playing on Centre Court, and that was my first opportunity. And hopefully, whether it's this year or next year or the year after, I'll have more opportunities to get back out there and have the crowd on my side again.
While she has fond memories of Wimbledon 2 years ago, last summer was not so memorable for Anne. Having reached her career-high ranking of 48 earlier in 2009, she began the grass court season with high hopes. However, she lost in the first round at Wimbledon to then world number 80, Patricia Meyer. It left the media and fans bemoaning yet another British failure, and afterwards it all got a little too much for Anne.
Wimbledon's such a special tournament to me, and you know, this year especially, I just felt I've overcome so much just to get where I am.
And did you put more pressure on yourself this year, do you think?
Anne Keothavong was born and bred in London, but her family's history lies much further afield. Both her mother and father fled their native Laos at the time of the Vietnam War. Laos was heavily bombed by the United States to prevent communist pro-Vietnamese forces from gaining control of the Southeast Asian country.
The history of Laos and everything my parents went through, you know, there's still a lot for me to learn about that. You know, it's still a touchy subject for those who are involved and, you know, there at the time to talk about. But it's definitely something I wish to learn more about. And, you know, my parents have always said to me, you know, whatever I want to do, whatever I want to achieve, no one's going to help me more than myself.
The scarred land that her parents escaped from is a far cry from where Anne now spends a lot of her time. She trains at the £39 million National Tennis Centre in London. The state-of-the-art facility provides the ultimate training environment for elite-level junior and senior players. Nigel Sears is the head of British women's tennis.
It's a privilege to have facilities on hand like this and the staff support we have as well. But ultimately, you know, the responsibility of winning matches, it comes back to the players, and you know, they really do have good support, so there's no excuse anymore.
During the grass court season, Anne will compete in 3 other tournaments on home soil as well as Wimbledon. She prepares for these by working with Sears and Luke Milligan, who travels with her when she's on tour.
The two things that immediately spring to mind would be her work rate and her intensity and her willingness to really go the extra mile when she practices and trains. She's never shy when it comes to putting in the hours, which always helps. And mentally, she has that real grit and toughness and competitiveness that you just must have in the women's game to progress.
Anyone connected with Keothavong appears to single out her determination and willpower as her major strengths. Evidence of this is her comeback from 2 serious knee injuries. She snapped the cruciate ligament in her left knee in 2004 and suffered a repeat of the injury in preparation for last year's US Open.
You know, there's no good time for any kind of injury, but you know, snap my cruciate ligament twice in my tennis career, it takes talent to do that, I think. I think most people would describe me as someone who is pretty tough and resilient. And, you know, I think having done it once before, my cruciate, I think, you know, I was able to approach my rehab the second time around with, you know, clearer mind, and it was just, yeah, I knew what I had to do.
Anne has now fully recovered from her latest injury setback. Currently ranked 157th in the world, she's experienced mixed results since her return to the WTA Tour. She reached the semi-finals of the event in Memphis, but was handed a difficult draw in the French Open, losing to 14th seed Flavia Pennetta in the first round. One advantage of the grass court season is that she gets to spend time at home with friends and family. However, the downside to playing home events is the increased attention and pressure from fans, and more significantly, the notoriously critical British press.
Well, if they weren't so negative half the time, I think it would be great. I mean, I would really love to see the media back our players more, and you know, there's nothing better than feeling that the crowd and the home support is behind you. And it's horrible if you feel that they're not behind you, and it's difficult to deal with if you're constantly getting hammered in the press.
If Anne can maintain her fitness and receive a favourable draw, she'll be confident of making some progress at Wimbledon. But while the majority of Britain may view a player's success or failure by their performance at SW19, there are more significant targets for 2010 that Anne and her coaching team have set.
I see absolutely no reason why she can't get back into the top 50. And that was a career best last year, and she's on track to do that. So she's on schedule for a good top 100 finish to the year, and if you sort of project 6 to 9 months ahead, just for a start, I see no reason why she can't get back to the ranking she had last year.
Anne Keothavong will be 27 later this summer, and is therefore approaching the latter stages of her career as a professional tennis player. However, she has no intention of retiring just yet, especially with one major source of inspiration on the horizon.
My biggest motivation right now is the 2012 Olympic Games. I've never competed in Olympic Games before, and I missed out on Beijing 2 years ago. So for any athlete, I think competing in an Olympic Games is something special.
The 2012 London Olympics may well provide Anne with the perfect swan song to her career. But for now, Wimbledon awaits, as she strives to give the home fans something to shout about.